It's often said that most children don't fail school. Instead, school fails to see them. If you agree, click that like button so more parents can see this video, because today's insight might completely change how you understand intelligence, confidence, and your child's true value. Welcome to 100 Experts on Education. Here, we explore the wisdom of great educational thinkers to rethink what truly gives our children value. Today, we're diving into the work of Harvard professor Howard Gardner and a concept that's often mentioned but deeply misunderstood: multiple intelligences. How many children start doubting themselves far too early? They wonder, am I not smart? Or, why can't I learn like the others? Or even, is there something wrong with me? These thoughts rarely come from children alone. They are often planted by the very systems we use to measure them. Gardner didn't introduce the idea of multiple intelligences to create a bunch of new labels for kids. He introduced it to challenge one single, dangerous belief: that intelligence is a singular, fixed thing. For decades, maybe even centuries, education has relied on a very narrow definition of ability. It was all about language skills, logical reasoning, exams, and rankings. If a child didn't fit neatly into that mold, they were quietly told, often indirectly, that they were somehow less capable. This is the reality many of us grew up in. But Gardner dared to ask a different question. Why do we use one narrow, specific ability to judge an entire, complex human being? Think about it. When we rely only on test scores and standardized answers, we send a powerful, unspoken message. Only one kind of intelligence truly matters. And this is precisely where so many children begin to shrink. They start to feel small, inadequate, and lose that natural spark of curiosity. Gardner was very clear about his theory. Multiple intelligences doesn't mean that children must be good at everything. And it certainly doesn't mean parents need to frantically try to develop every single skill in their child. That would be overwhelming and counterproductive. What it means is something much simpler, and yet much more profound. It means that every single child has a unique, personal combination of abilities. Some children think best through words and language. For others, it's logic and numbers. And for others still, it's through movement, rhythm, space, relationships, nature, self-reflection, or imagination. When we honor these differences, something magical happens. Children no longer have to live inside a constant state of comparison. They stop asking, why am I not like them? And they start asking, who am I really? I once heard a child say quietly, it's not that I don't try, I'm just not good at taking exams. Behind that one sentence isn't laziness. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's a cry for help from within a system that only recognizes and rewards one specific form of ability. As Gardner would remind us, when our systems of evaluation are too narrow, what gets eliminated isn't a lack of ability. It's confidence. The potential is still there, but the belief in that potential gets crushed. So what would actually change if we, as parents, as educators, as a society, truly understood the concept of multiple intelligences? We would finally stop asking questions like, how does this child rank? How do they compare to their peers? Do they meet the standard? These questions are born from a one-size-fits-all mindset. Instead, we would start asking far more powerful questions. How does this child understand the world? When do they feel most alive and engaged? What kind of learning truly ignites their passion? When the questions change, a child's entire life path can change too. Gardner reminds parents of something absolutely essential. Your child does not need you to label them with a new intelligence type. They need you to observe them. They need you to be a detective of their spirit. Notice what excites them. Recognize how they think, even if it's different from how you think. Your most important job is to protect their confidence before the world tries to flatten it into a single, uniform shape. Your role isn't to force them into a framework that was never designed for them. Your role is to help them recognize their own unique strengths, accept their differences without shame, and find a place in the world where those strengths truly matter. Gardner's work teaches us this powerful truth. Human beings are naturally, wonderfully diverse. It's our superpower. When we stop measuring all children by one single, rigid standard, children can finally stop doubting themselves. When they are no longer defined by narrow metrics, a world of possibility opens up for them. So I want you to ask yourself today, am I, even unintentionally, using one narrow standard to measure a complete, whole human being? Am I judging my child based on a system? Or am I truly seeing them for who they are? Click the like button if this helped you see your child, or maybe even yourself, a little differently. And subscribe for more wisdom from 100 experts on education. Together, let's raise children who know they are capable, not because they are ranked, but because they are truly seen.